All right, today we are going to be looking at these two lenses right here, the Sony 20 1.8 and the 24 2.8. But before I dig into that, I wanted to show you all my prime lenses here. I'm going to remove all these bags in a second and stack them up so you can see how tall they are side by side. Again, this is the 20mm F1.8 G lens. This is a 24 2.8 G lens. This is the Sony 35 1.8. And when I stack all these up, you'll notice they all have the bottom protectors, except I'm missing one. I can't find it. And that was the last lens I used, so it's just sitting on there. This is the 50 2.5, and this is the 85 1.8. A couple notes about these lens hoods. You can see this one on the 85 is huge. I think it's too big. The 50 does not include a lens hood because it has one kind of built in. You can see how deep it goes in there. Let me show all the glass on these also. The 35 has a lens hood that's kind of a normal size. And then the 20 has a lens hood that's kind of a normal size. This lens does have a UV filter. This lens has a UV filter, which I'm about to show you. And this one has a UV filter on. This one doesn't have one on right now, and this one doesn't have one on right now. So the reason this hood isn't on, so all of these, to my knowledge, can fit a hood with a filter, except for this one. And I don't know why. Now, the only reason I had the bags here is I just wanted to show everyone my method for storing these lenses. A lot of you are probably thinking, oh, that's complete overkill, but these things are expensive. You got to protect these things. So what I do is, for every one of these lenses, I have a padded bag and a bubble wrap. And I know the bubble wrap's a little bit overkill, but I use this for another reason. And I also have a little lens cleaning cloth in there. I use this for another reason. You see how this bubble wrap is laying down here? So when I'm in the field and I'm outside and I don't have a table, I always keep like a piece of cloth in my camera bag. I put the piece of cloth down. This is when I need to change a lens. I put the piece of cloth down. I put my camera body on the ground. I take the lens off that I need to change. I leave my camera body upside down so that less dust will get down inside the camera. And then I take this lens cap off, the protective cap on the back, and then I just switch the lenses. But while I'm doing that and I get this lens ready, I put it on the bubble wrap. So that's another reason I have the bubble wrap, because sometimes I don't have the piece of cloth and I just need to switch a lens really quickly. So I just take the lens out, the new lens. I put this down on the ground. I take the cap off. I put the lens on there. I take the lens off the body, hold the body upside down. Then I put the new lens on and put the cap on the other lens. So that's my method. Now I'm going to move all this junk and I'm going to show you these lenses side by side and from the top. And real quick, later on in this video, you're going to see some real world examples where I test these two lenses in low light situations with my friend Braden riding his bike. In some of those examples, there won't be an additional light, and some of them you'll see, I'll put a little note on the video that says additional light. This is the light I was using for that shoot. It's just a real small, there's the model number. I got this on Amazon. This thing's pretty amazing. So when I did that shoot, I had it mounted to my gimbal tripod. So the gimbal has a tripod on the bottom. This clamped to the tripod when it was folded up. And then the light mounts right here. And then you can swivel this to position it where you want. So I just wanted to show that light just so that you know when you see those video examples how I was lighting it up. It's a really small light, but it's really bright at nighttime. All right, I put the 35mm away because I looked and I couldn't find that little bottom cap. Again, I'm only going to focus on these two in just a second, but I wanted to give you a real quick shot of these four lenses side by side: 20mm, 24, 50, and 85. These two lenses are so small. They came out around the time the A7C was released, and they were specifically designed to use with smaller camera bodies, but they are full frame lenses. All of these are. So, in my opinion, these are excellent lenses, especially for the price, but they're not as good as the 1.8 lenses, and I'll talk more about that later. But I'll show you. Look at how little glass this 24 has. This 50 has a decent amount. And this 20 has a lot. And then look at this 85. It's just insane. Okay, real quick, let's weigh these, and then I'm going to put these two lenses away. This isn't an exact weight because they have the caps on, and a couple of these have UV filters. This one has a filter on, this one has a filter on, and this one has a filter on. This one doesn't. So these aren't exact weights, but let's start with the heaviest one, I'm sure. It's 13.5 ounces. That's the 85. This is the 50. 7.4 ounces. This is the 24. 6.5 ounces. Now pay attention to the 24 and the 20. This is the main comparison I'm doing here. So the 24 2.8 is around 6.5 ounces. And the 20 1.8 14.3. So over double the weight. Want to get some real good side by sides of these. So I'm not going to talk about all the features. You can look those up online. This lens actually got damaged. You can see a nick right there on it, which is when I decided to buy this lens. So real quick, I'm going to give you some more thoughts, but real quick, if weight really matters to you, then you're going to obviously want this lens. No question about it. It's way easier to use on a gimbal. It's easier to balance the gimbal. It's lighter if you're going to be using it for hours. I've used this lens for sure over 6 hours on a gimbal, just nonstop holding the gimbal and filming. And this thing is just super light, super small. It never bogs the gimbal down. You never get any weird jittering. If low light matters to you and you don't mind the weight, then obviously this is the lens for you. The difference between these lenses is, I think, less than $200. So, in my opinion, this lens outshines this one in every way, except obviously weight and convenience for using it. Okay, so if you're using these lenses in daylight, there's not that much difference between them. If you have an ND filter on and you can stop this one down, Of course, you're going to get a little bit better of a black background blur. But keep in mind, the difference between the 24 and the 20 is pretty significant. And that extra wide angle makes it even harder to blur the background on this. Now, you can blur the background very easily if you're close to your subject, and it looks really good. But if it's daytime and you're not very close to the subject, like for me, for example, I'm following people on bikes, then these lenses are going to look very, very similar. Almost identical, really. But if it's nighttime and you need that extra low light capability, and or if you want just a little bit of extra background blur, and again, if you don't mind the weight, then this would be the lens for you. Now, I know I weighed these and the specs are online, and I know it's not that much different. In theory, this one only weighs a little bit more than twice as much as this, but trust me, if you're holding this thing for 6 hours, it's a big difference. I mean, this thing just feels so light. When I hold these in my hand, this thing feels like 3 times heavier than this one, even though it's not. I already proved that, but it's a lot heavier. So just keep that in mind. You had it fixed?
I am. I am not.
What do you got?
I have geared ratios for sure over here.
Okay, so I am basically right on the line here. I'm going to try and stay here as much as I can.
On the right, baby, got us, baby.
Right here on this line still. So once I switch to my 20mm lens, I should get a lot more in the frame. Not a ton, but there's quite a bit of difference between 20 and 24.
Yeah.
So you want to go right and then go through the neighborhood and then cross through back on the Roosevelt?
Yeah,
just turn around.
Yeah, that's good.
That's fine with me. Right turn.
Oh, this is a good little low light area here. There's like no lights from businesses. Good job! Get in the car!
Right turn.
We're about 40 feet away from here right now. About 25 feet. About 20 feet.
Yeah, we got it. Oh, we got this. Yeah, we got this.
Back on my line right here.
Walkers up. Her right.
All right.
Glass everywhere. Literally everywhere.
And we are back.
Now we're back.
Here on this line again. Yeah! Is he being sarcastic?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Oh, your computer right here?
So annoying. It's like I put it on mute and it's like like R2-D2. Turn. All right. Yeah, darling, clear. We are clear, darling. Here.